Hi, all you SP-me's out there. Today's question has 3 answers, and the third answer is a secret as to how you can get the best of both worlds, traditional publishing and self-publishing. So let's get into it. The question that was sent in to me today is it better to self-publish a book? Now, this is a very common question for writers who are getting started, and they need to know, should they self-publish their book, or should they go through traditional publishing channels and major publishing houses in order to get their book published? And we're going to attempt to answer that question today. This is Chris Baird from selfpublishingmadeeasynow.com. Go ahead and click the subscribe bell if you'd like for me to make more videos like this one, and check out below my free self-publishing checklist to help you get started on your self-publishing journey. So, is it better to self-publish a book? Well, for me, when I first started, I discovered that, yes, self-publishing was exactly the right track. I didn't want to have to figure out all of the things involved with traditional publishing and who do I need to make contacts with, and do I need somebody to represent me, or did I need to do anything along those lines in order to make progress on my books. Instead, I started from the route of saying, what is the easiest way to get a book onto the market? And of course, self-publishing has always been that easiest route. So I chose to go along that route, and it's worked out for me. And after I have read up quite a bit, I've come to a number of conclusions that we'll get into in today's answers. One of the keys is within a community, you're able to hear an awful lot of different advice being given, and some of it contradicts, but many times you'll see people's experiences come into play, and it helps you figure out what will work best for you. So, is it better to self-publish a book? Well, let's get into the answers. So the first thing is, yes, it is better to self-publish a book. In virtually all cases, it's going to be the winning strategy, unless you, of course, already have a platform. And so if you're selling a lot of books, or you've got a platform from a blog, or you're a celebrity or a sports star, well, then you can get a deal with one of the major publishing houses, and they will, of course, take your book. They have one interest, which is not necessarily getting high-quality literature on the market, but producing books and publishing books that are going to sell and make them money. Because if they choose books that aren't going to make them money, they will end up losing money on the process, and they will cease to exist as a business. Because when it comes down to it, they are a business. They may have secondary interests, but if their books that they're publishing are not making them money, then they will simply have to shut down their publishing house. So, but how can they know if the books they're going to publish are going to make the money? Well, one of the tricks is, are the books already selling? The author is already coming out with books that have been self-published or published by other publishing houses that are already selling. And that's one of the things. If you're already selling a lot of books, or you have a platform, then they will consider you as definitely somebody who would probably be able to help them earn their money back and a profit to keep them going along so they can produce even more books. However, if they are not selling a lot of books at the moment, then if you're not selling and you don't have a platform, well, then you need to build a platform. But how can you build a platform so that these major companies will consider bringing you on board with regards to publishing the books for you? And the answer is, you can build a platform, right back to the initial question, through self-publishing. It will allow you to learn the entire process, figure out what it is about the books that you're producing that will get them to sell, and how to make these major publishing houses to pay attention to you, so that when you're ready to come out with your next book, maybe you'll consider going through one of them, because again, you're less of a risk because you have a platform. But if you don't already have a platform, you're not already a celebrity, and you don't have connections within the major publishing houses, then it's going to usually be a waste of time. You're going to use a lot of time and energy in order to get them to choose one of your books. And after all of this work of getting a book out there, you discover the next thing, which is, well, since you didn't have a platform, the books are not going to sell themselves. A lot of people are under the misperception that simply having a book published by a major publishing house means it's going to be amazing success because you've read all these stories. But in reality, that is simply not the way that this works. And since you're not a top star celebrity, they're not going to use that much time and money marketing your books. They may get it into bookstores and put it on tables, but eventually it's just going to be another binder. You're going to see the binding of your book on a shelf with all of the other books in these bookstores. And you have to ask yourself, how often do you just look at random books at a bookstore? If you haven't heard of the author and there's been no major push to market you because that costs a lot of money too, then your book just disappears and you lose the rights to the books. The money you're making is only about 11-12% off of the royalties from those books, as opposed to 70% you'd get with going with Amazon Kindle or Smashwords, for example. You can get like 60%, 40-60% depending upon how you go through it there. But the point being is that by simply following through the correct steps with self-publishing, you will learn all the skills that is necessary to make sure that when you publish through a major traditional publishing house, that they will in fact pick up your book. So, is it better to self-publish a book? What have you found? Have you found it to be? Go ahead and leave your comment below, and I always respond to all comments that are left to me. And look up above here, and you will see more answers to your self-publishing questions. Thanks.